day, welcome to EMTV. The Langeveld building was officially opened last week, and way before that there are already signs that the accessibility of the building were not up to standard. For people with a functional impairment, there's a lot left to be desired. Well, here, Kyra Mulders, welcome. You're a student here, you're studying philosophy now, and you're also, well, the face now of the increasing, I should say, awareness of the inaccessibility of this campus. How is that for you? Do you feel like a celebrity?
Yeah, it's a bit weird to be the face of something, especially since it feels like I'm now, of course, with a bit of a group behind me. One of the people in charge of it, like to raise awareness on this field.
You're not the only student who's speaking out. No, people recognize you a lot.
Yeah, I get a lot of students coming up to me and saying, "Oh, I read this piece," or if people don't recognize me per se, they say if I am speaking out about some issue. Oh, there was this piece about a girl in a wheelchair a while ago. They say, it's me. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, that's interesting.
Now we're going to talk about the building, the new Langeveld building. And we also went there and we first asked other students how they felt about the building, and this is what they had to say about it.
How many times have you been here?
It's my third time.
And what do you think of it?
It's very beautiful, like all the green spaces. I think they're very special compared to Polak and Sanders, so it adds a more comfortable environment, which is, good for studying.
What do you think of this place as study place?
I think it's good. I feel it can be a good place to be productive. And I really like the trees and the green, get more like a sustainable vibe when I get into the building.
I was here already at 8 o'clock today, so just studying, and I usually never do that, but this building, I don't know, it did something to me. That's why I really wanted to study here. So,
what's the best thing about this building?
I think all of the green, the green plants and stuff. I really love that. The whole, aesthetic of the building. That's what makes it really impressive, I think.
Wat vind je het mooiste?
Het groen, denk ik. Dat vind ik wel echt leuk. Dat is iets anders dan de rest door al dat, de groene plantjes. Ja. Het is echt heel veel mooier dan de rest van de gebouwen hier op de campus.
Well, they are all happy. Do you understand that they're happy?
Yeah, I can understand that perfectly well, because if you walk in, it's beautiful. It's all green and But then if you have to find the elevator, that's of course an issue.
Because you see the stairs first.
Yeah, but I can't take the stairs. So I'm taking a different route, and then I'm in all of this grey area, and I'm just stuck to a field of grey then.
Yeah, because also when you go up, you have the center level, that's green, but the circle around it, that's all concrete.
It's all concrete. So this whole beautiful treehouse area that they're aiming for, that's nice, and I understand people like it very much, but that's not something I can be a part of. So students who are not able to take the stairs for whatever kind of reason, that's not how they would experience the building.
You also visited the building a week before the official opening with fellow people with a functional impairment, a few students and also one employee. Can you tell me how that tour to the building went?
Yeah, first of all, I thought it was very nice for the university to arrange it. The tour was a lot less chaotic than I would have imagined at first. We encountered quite a lot of issues with the building, starting already when we first entered.
Directly entered?
There's like a side door that you can open with the pass. That didn't work, but that's just like a few bugs that can be fixed. But then the lecture halls on the ground floor, they're really not accessible because of the stages, sort of.
That is the stairway stages.
Yeah, that are built in it. they are not accessible for a variety of disabilities.
So not only for people in wheelchairs.
No, also if you have a visual impairment, it's quite a hazard because you might trip because it's all, there's no visual aid to distinguish the steps.
Is it all, because I've been there, it's grey floors, grey steps, grey walls.
Yeah, everything is grey.
Yeah.
And there's also no sound aid, so everything is quite echoey. So students who have any kind of hearing problems, or they are having issues to understand the teachers very well.
Basic things when you have to go to a lecture, you have to hear your lecture.
Yeah. And because the chairs are welded into the floor, they're stuck, you can't move closer, so you're really stuck.
Yeah.
And that also means that you can't sit next to the student in a wheelchair because they have to sit very separate.
You have a separate table.
Yeah, in some of the rooms. In other rooms, there's nothing, so you just sit by yourself in front of the room.
Yeah, that must not be how you envision being a student, being separate from your fellow students.
No, not at all. I think when everyone imagines being a student, they imagine going to class together, making friends, studying together, having drinks together, but that all starts in a classroom. And that starts sitting next to each other, discussing what's going on, and that just can't happen in those rooms.
Yeah, and what other things did you encounter that were, because you mentioned the door, that was something probably pretty small. Because you also encountered some, more problematic things.
Yeah, so there are quite heavy doors before the elevators. So those doors were very difficult to open. Only a few people could. And the group of people in a wheelchair would need those elevators. Yeah. They're quite diverse. So the elevators should be accessible for all of the students who need them. So that's quite an issue. The button for the elevator wasn't reachable for all of the students in a wheelchair.
Because it was located?
Yeah, because of the location of the button. Because it is in sort of a corner. So if you're in an electric wheelchair, you sometimes have a table attached to your chair. And then
you would just get stuck.
Yeah, then you get stuck. So you might not be able to reach it. The elevators are also quite small. As you might know, there are already problems in Polak with the elevators and that you have to wait a long time. I imagine that would also happen in Langeveld. All of the hallways are also quite small. So I've already experienced that people keep bumping into me.
Oh.
Also because I'm quite low, so people don't see me. Then you have the study spaces. A lot of the plugs are too low to the floor, or they are too far out to the table, so I can't reach them. Most of the study spaces are not reachable if you're in a wheelchair, because everything is really cramped in together. Then there are a few which are accessible, but they're in a hallway. And
so that's not the best spot in the building.
No, because it's all very echoey, and still people walk into you. And you have another study room downstairs, but there is also some issues with that.
It's a long list.
Yeah, it keeps going on, and yeah.
And how does it made you feel after taking this tour and seeing not only the things that you encounter, but also the students with a visual impairment and hearing impairment? How did it make you feel after the tour?
Well, I think it was two things. At first I thought at least there's some kind of attention, because there wasn't when I first started studying here. It was really a struggle and a fight to get any sort of attention towards the subject, because generally people think for physical functional impairments, everything should be fine. Our buildings are accessible.
There's an elevator.
It should be fine. Like wheelchairs, they exist for a long time, so everything should work, right? But now I think there's more attention. So that's was also what showed that there is now this tour. But on the other hand, we already spoke to university to say this very new building, Polak, is also really not accessible. And now they built this even newer building, and there are more problems with it than with Polak. So that was quite upsetting.
So you had both feelings mixed into together.
Yeah.
And well, of course, we also asked the university for a comment, and the spokesperson told EM that the constructor was instructed to build according to an international certification, and the university was unable to intervene before the finalization. The contractor is now checking the building to see if it was actually built when it was handed over to the university according to the agreed accessibility agreements. And also this you already know, because the university told us that they will reconvene with a group at the beginning of December to let you all know what they are going to change and also what they're not going to change.
Yeah.
Do you have all the faith in a good outcome?
Well, I think they're going to try, but some things you just can't change. They can't add elevators. They can't change all of the lecture halls. They can't take out the stairs and change the designs. They can't widen the hallways. They can't change all of the handicapped bathrooms.
Because they're also not working
No, they're
well.
all too small for most wheelchairs to fit in or to properly use them.
Mhm.
So I don't think it will ever be fully accessible, as much as they will try. But I hope at least that they will do something, so students can at least have classes and be a part of their study and be part of their group.
And then we'll have faith for the next building.
Yeah, so they will learn.
They will learn. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem.
And if you want to read more on the comments of the university or what an expert had to say on the laws on building, well, accessible designs, then please go to erasmusmagazine.nl for the full article. For now, thank you all for watching, and we will be back in 2 weeks.